Okay, Genji Snaps here. We're at college. Gonna make a quick little update video. This is about all the new Tachi support because that's realistically all I give a shit about. So, first up, Anger Bladder. Okay, cool. It's a grade 3. It allows Tachis to, multi-attack, which is cool and all, but it's like fine. Being able to, gauge something and then retire one of your things, that's also pretty good. Builds up gauge. I can dig it. For a counterblast though, that's fine. Would have preferred it to be a soul blast though. That doesn't matter though. It's a nice grade 3. I don't think it replaces Gigarex entirely. However, I do think there can be builds exclusively for Anger Bladder without Gigarex, and then Gigarex without Anger Bladder, etc., etc. But that's just me. Number 2, Palanca Spine. Palanca Spine, we basically have a Freezer Nex, but the Freezer Nex is reliant on how many gauge you got on it. When it's retired and it has X amount of gauge, you do your thing. If you got 1, you soul charge. If you got 1 or more, you soul charge. If you have 2 or more, you counter charge. If you have 3 or more, it moves all the gauge that it had to another rear guard that you control. Like, which is nice and all, but it's also over here being like, okay, how are you gonna fucking kill your shit now? Like, okay, Megarex, sure. Deathrex, sure. What else? We've only ever had 2 ways of, proactively, retiring, but fine, sure. It's nice. We have a Freezer Nex in Standard, which is cool, but, it made me mad. Savage Mercenary. 27k, it can only attack if there's a rearguard that has a gauge in the same column. It can't be ridden. It's giftless grade 3. Don't really know what else to say about that. It's 27k though, that's a fucking big boy. Savage Academian, which is the AK grade 2, where, what is it? It's Soul Blast 1 and rest it. You can call one of its gauge to a rearguard circle, which I think is a neat little factor, and I think it would have been much better, except for the fact where it's an 8k. If it wasn't an 8k, it would be fine. Like, if it was a 9k, that would have been so much better than what it actually is. But alas, it's an 8k. It's gonna be a little difficult. What else? Thundilifo. I don't fucking know. I just have a list down. It's a rest and gauge. You basically rest it, then gauge it. Then counterblast 1 gets 5k for each gauge that it has, I think. Roborio, Soul Blast 1 to gauge. Cool. Optical Cerato. Optical Cerato is literally just Smilodon, but as a grade 3 with a marker, and it kind of turns into that Night Storm. It kind of turns into that Night Storm ideology, where it's the fact where it's on place. Not only do you get a gift, but you also do what your deck needs to do, which is really interesting within itself. So that's definitely going to be seen, at least in premium. Whether it's seen in standard and some builds, that's also cool. I don't know, man. School has me stressed. Darkrex is trash. We're not even going to talk about how Bushiroad literally just redid Negro. What was it? Fucking Negro Bone, the grade 3 in Grand Blue. That's oh, hey, if your drop zone has 10 or more, you can counterblast 2 and call me. Oh, but guess what? If you didn't ride this turn, you can ride me instead. They literally put a rare on a triple R and named it Deathrex, which has cool as shit artwork, just one of the most lackluster effects ever known to man. Armored Mammoth, cool. Tachis now have Spinning Valiant as a grade 2. Blast 6 cards out from its gauge. Your opponent needs to guard with 6 cards on his attack. That's pretty nice and all if it has a crit. I don't know. I don't know. Sweeper Crocanto, the new triple rare. The new triple rare is fucking fantastic. I don't care what anybody says. Does it lose to Gauntlet Buster? You bet your fucking ass it does. But hey, guess what? It gets around. It stops a Berserk Dragon. You can have a 24k rear guard by the time you hit grade 2 if you play your cards well enough. Because Smilodon is a fucking card, and it's a fucking excellent card. I don't care what anybody says. Smilodon is fucking stupid in testing. I didn't think it was like all that good. I was over here being like, on place or on attack gauge, like that's fine. But the fact where you basically get to gauge 2 cards off of 1 card, it's really, really nice. I'm not gonna lie. And then Bomb Raptor, which is like the rare. When something fucking dies, you can gauge it, and then it gets 5k. So my thoughts. Oh yeah. Then it's like the other like crits and triggers. Oh yeah, we don't have a new starter. That's cool. But hey, I guess so. So Tachis. Tachis are interesting. They went from being, oh hey, we can be loosey-goosey with our ratios, to being one of the tightest knit decks I've ever seen. And it's mainly because of how they changed their play style. Because initially it was like, oh hey, we gauge, we kill stuff, we get shit back because we killed shit. Now it's just gauge and do something based off of the amount of gauge that you have, which is nice and all, but I'm over here being like, I kind of wanted more like death and advantage as opposed to like more ways to deck myself out faster. And don't get me wrong, Savage Augur's like cool and all, but that's a once per turn counterblast 1, take a gauge, put it to the bottom of the deck, and that's only 1 gauge. It's not like you're setting up a Tsukiyomi stack of gauge, like you only have so many counterblasts to work with. And now since like, okay, let's be realistic. If you're running Deathrex and Megarex, yeah, I'm running Megarex. I so far I can't find room for Deathrex, but that's my issue. That's my issue, and I'm not gonna worry about it, not gonna complain about it. I'll get around to it when it gets around to it. But the problem is that we have stuff now where it's like, on retire, you do something. But they also gave us way too many cards that are good that we are required to run in order to get the gauge numbers up. Which is really, really fucking weird. And I do not appreciate it as much. I appreciate the cards, but at the same time, I'm over here being like, this is a very different like situation than like what we were initially doing here, and I don't too much care for that. But I don't know. That's just me. Anger Bladder is kind of fine. Like, it's a fine grade 3. Being able to basically be like, man, I need to clear your board and build up my gauge. And I have all these useless cards in my hand. I know, let me call these useless cards, retire your board, and turn them into gauge. Like, that's a fucking neat concept as shit. That's a fucking that's a wonderful effect. Because now it allows us to have more removal than just Deathrex. Deathrex would kill one of ours and kill one of our opponents, which was cool and all. But now it comes to the factor of, now we can clear a whole board while building up our shit. Like, you put like 5 cards under Sweep Commander Raptor boy, whatever his name is. And it basically turns into, hey, plus 25. Hey, I'm a 34k base by myself that can't be targeted, which is cool until you're opponent drops a fucking Gauntlet Buster and says, it doesn't fucking matter if you can be targeted or not. Or Blade Master. I forgot Blade Master exists. Oh well. But the moral of the story is the fact where Tachi's turned into a very turned more gauge heavy in terms of, oh hey, here are more ways to gauge, but other than that, that's kind of it. Like we make bigger numbers while getting gauge, but it's like we don't have any more Blytops S cards. We don't have any more Laceratrex S cards. And it sucks because those are pretty chill. Those are pretty fucking chill. I like going up against Shadow Paladin and then being like, okay, cool, kill 3, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll get 3 cards back to my hand, at least. So I don't know. That's my own personal shtick with it, but that's for me later. All right. Well, I gotta head out to class. So hope y'all enjoyed this little fucking rant that I had. Like, comment, subscribe, do what you want, and yeah, see you guys later.